Is it like is Spotify like playing? Oh yeah. Red Ferrari, red Ferrari, red Ferrari, red Ferrari. Aye. Now to speak about Thor: The Dark World. I know that like it's a 6-7. It's a literally 6-7 kind of movie. Yeah, it's a 6.7 rated movie. It's a 67. It has a 67. It has a 6-7, bro. It's a 6-7 movie, and it's like, yo, Selvig. Like for me, like Selvig, like the Selvig freaking scenes just took took that took the experience of like Thor: The Dark World for me. Um. Oh yeah, but first the Selvig scenes is crazy insane. But first, we need to understand the plot. Let me retell you the freaking plot as from memory without freaking notes. Let's see if I still remember the plot of Thor: The Dark World. Alright? Let's go. We got this. So we start off immediately from like Loki being going into the freaking trial as to his crimes. Start of the movie with the Thor Loki, like what the hell is Thor gonna be after the Avengers freaking thing, right? After the Avengers freaking movie, like what is Thor doing these days? And that's what this is. Like after one of the Avengers, we see Loki going into the freaking trial and trying to be I'm why I'm just trying to be you, like something like that. He was just trying like of all he was trying to say, he was like, I'm just trying to be you to his like to freaking Odin. It's a crazy ass freaking thing about it. It's like your birthright and the fucking thing, man. It's just like he and then Odin went on a freaking verbal whiplash, verbal whipping of freaking on towards Loki. He was saying your birthright is to die, made to be cast away. And all those freaking things, man. That's the craziest freaking part about it. But that was like the first beginning of like a freaking Thor, right? So it would like it started off with like that, and kind of like, and then it was like his judgment or his punishment was just to be imprisoned for eternity in the vaults of Asgard. That was like Loki's freaking punishment, to be imprisoned in like a freaking thing. So after that, it was like, so what's Thor gonna be doing to do? Is he still gonna be king? Like, and then Loki was like, after he brings peace into the nine realms, because after the Bifrost was broken, somehow it it gave chaos towards the nine realms. People were rebelling and all those freaking things. So that was that. Wait, can I still be able to? Yeah, am I still able to like be heard? Yeah, kinda. What? Uh, so as I retell it, so like it was like, so Thor was about to bring peace to the nine realms, and after bringing peace to the nine realms, he's going back. Like after he brings peace to the nine realms, he's gonna go back and freaking to Asgard and become king of Asgard, right? And then rule over the nine realms. That's what he said. But as we see, so jump cut, it's like cut into freaking one of the freaking nine realms. I don't know what the freaking place was, but it was like kind of like Asian freaking fusion. It's like high fantasy kind of thingy. You know what? Like that was supposed to be. Yeah, I think I'm thinking it's going to be like high fantasy, right? Like Thor was supposed to be like the high fantasy thingy, but when it comes to freaking space, it's supposed to be treated as like high fantasy. But it's just different, man. It's just different when it completely. There's a lot of things change when it comes to like Thor, and then holy freaking shit, it's actually zero viewers. Okay, I thought it was like gonna be a bot one. Like no, not even a bot. Oh, that's freaking sad. That's just sad. That's just literally sad. That's just so freaking sad. I mean, like zero. Okay. Anyways, yeah. My one viewer died. and I have now 0 viewers. Okay, anyways. So doing about these things, right? It was like him. So we go to like Thor. It's a sequence where like very very funny ones because he was like he came into the freaking he got like beamed in with a Bifrost and then it just like beat the shit out of this huge ass rock dude. It was like the rock dude was coming in like everybody the enemy was like cheering like he came into there like fighting champion versus champion kind of thing. So the rock dude was like coming in really like looking very menacingly, looking very threateningly, and everybody like the on the enemy side is very cheering and all those crazy things like that. And we have like Thor saying, "I accept your surrender," and just one shots the guy. One shots the guy, flies him into the freaking like is all the rock turned into debris flying off into the freaking skies, and then the one. So he brought peace into three of the freaking realms, but Jotunheim, there's like the dark freaking worlds. Also, we also start with the exposition coming from Odin, right? Exposition coming from Odin that back in the day, before there was light, there was darkness, and before there was darkness, there are those who dwell in the freaking darkness, which is the dark elves. And the dark elves are the ones who dominated in this freaking era when it was just darkness. And the when it comes to darkness, the leader of the freaking this is just a description of the freaking big bad, right? Like somehow he was trying to use the ether. The ether is like an infinity stone. We know that it is an infinity stone later on after the freaking thingy. But now that we know that, right? Everybody knows already. Okay, okay, come on, it's 2026. Everybody knows about the infinity stones already. The ether is an infinity stone. It's actually the reality freaking stone. It's the red freaking stone. Somehow in a liquid freaking form. It's in a malleable liquid freaking form. It's not a stone. It's actually explained also that although the other forms in it like it was explained by Odin later on that it was like although it's like in just other forms it was stone, but this one is not stone. It doesn't act as a stone or something because it is the ether. So that Malekith wanted to use the ether, but it was like taken away from him, and that's how Odin's father, Bor, be able to won the freaking war against the Dark Elves, and then the Dark Elves like ran away into hiding, waiting for the next convergence. Because the convergence was like, okay, I'm gonna tell about the convergence. The convergence is like an event when it comes to happens every 5,000 years that like somehow aligns all these freaking worlds together, and somehow when everything is aligned, physics like sometimes the worlds warp into each other to further into each other. Uh, yeah, something like that. Like somehow there's like portals when it comes to each other. That's what happens when it comes to convergence, right? When near convergence rates, it's like physics somehow doesn't work. It somehow gravity doesn't work. It just gets warped, and there is like portals coming in and out of the freaking places. So those are like what's happening when it comes to convergences. So that's what happens after Thor was like so coming back to Thor, going back into his victory and like making peace in one of those freaking worlds. Like he basically left one of those freaking guys, like one of the three warriors. The warriors, Lady Sif and the warriors three, right? One of the warriors were like left where it was left in it was like the homeworld of one of the warriors, and it was like he was allowed like somehow we need to see more of like Thor's maturity and more of Thor's yes, more of Thor's character development, as he says that you can stay here as long as you want. Asgard can still wait, something like that, to this freaking one of these warriors three. And that was that. So that was that. And so back to freaking Asgard. Everybody was celebrating. Thor won the freaking battle. Thor won again the freaking battle, bringing victory and peace towards the realms of the 9 realms of Yggdrasil. Of the 9 realms that Asgard rules, right? And somehow like everybody is like cheering towards him, but somehow you see him as like he's longing for something else. He's longing. He wanted something more. He's somehow still missing Jane. Like somehow it's like it's no longer he, it's no longer him. It's no longer him as he used to be when it comes to the merriment and when it comes to celebrations. Like it's somehow yeah, he misses freaking Jane, and that's the thing about it. We know that he misses freaking Jane, that he's somehow longing for something else rather than the merriment here. Even though Lady Sif is like, yo, yo, Lady Sif was there, man. Lady Sif was like, coming at him like crazy, insane, bro. Like Lady Sif was like, ready, available, always there, always gonna be there, like something like that, and like from advice. Uh, but after that, once there were like crazy ass things. Lady Sif, like there was like this conversation when it comes to Lady Sif, but overall it's just like a subtleties. It's like a playful kind of thing of waiting. It's like not a play. It's the subtleties of like seeing I am here for you. Why? Yeah, you're no longer the same. You're changed, but it's yeah. So like it's just more of like Thor being changed of what he once was before and what he once is now. And yeah, there's this kind of like bits and pieces of like a romance supposedly, like why not just pick Lady Sif instead, right? If you cannot go to Earth and all those freaking things. But when it comes to that, he goes. He goes to the freaking merriment. It wasn't still merriment. It was still in the merriment freaking area, right? Wait, let me see. Alright, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. I'm gonna look at the video, skim through the freaking things. I'm not gonna look at text. I'm not gonna look at freaking things. I'm just gonna do the video and try to explain to you what was going on in the video, into the freaking movie. Okay? That's just how we're gonna do it. I'm gonna tell the beat as I say it, as I tell you the story of freaking Thor, and then after I tell this story of Thor, I tell you what my thoughts on it. It's crazy ass things like that. Hi, Thor: The Dark World. Yes, I'm trying to give structure and something to be able to like stand upon, so that we won't just be. I would be crazy if we have structure, so that I would be able to be replicated, be able to replicate it, and be able to like somehow be able to compare it from each bits of pieces, right? Yes, there wasn't structure in the previous freaking things, but I kind of want to have like a structure or like a format as to how I do this, so that I won't be just like running out of things to be able to have. So let me start with this. So it was like that. After that, yes, after bar, yes, it was like that. Oh my god, he's just it's just all he does. Yes, it was like that. As he comes back. What the fuck is this scene? Wait, let me see. More short. Oh. Yes, it was the merriment freaking thing. But before the freaking merriment, there was this conversation that I just came back from the thingy before the freaking celebration of the freaking his victory, right? Before the celebration of his victory, he came back and he was like talking with freaking Odin as to what Alice is supposed to be doing and all those freaking things. About what he is to do. Like somehow, do you think me as freaking bread that I need to be buttered up? Like somehow that's what like Odin says to freaking Thor. And then they were like talking about things, and he somehow like trying to hint or trying to steer the conversation of him going into Midgard, going into Earth. But we don't see. We somehow see him like don't. We somehow see Odin saying that humans' lives are just freaking short and just a matter of a fraction of like freaking thing. Don't focus on those freaking things. Focus on what is here. Focus on like try to like say things that are what's actually there, right? Which is freaking Lady Sif. So that's why we have this thingy that's going on. We have this tension now going on later on, that is established later on in this freaking party, in this celebration, in which they were talking with Lady Sif, but he somehow deters it. He somehow like blocks the advances of Lady Sif, saying that yes, thank you for your advice and all those freaking things, right? Yes, there are 9 realms. The future of Asgard must focus on more than one. Hinting maybe polyamorous relationship. Well, I don't fucking know, man. Maybe that's what she's hinting on. I don't know what the fuck is she saying. But he's like trying to be monogamous, I think. Like, what the fuck was that supposed to be? Like something like that, right? What the fuck was that supposed to be in subtlety? In this subtlety, like what? I don't know. That was the freaking line that I saw here. Like, what the fuck is that? So that was that. That was that was Thor later on going into, and so after that one, he just left, and she was like, "I thank you for your counsel, for your sword and your counsel, Lady Sif," and then goes on forwards, goes on and be able to like. Goes on and be like, it goes on, moves forward into his freaking life because he's really fixated on freaking Jane, right? Because Jane changed his life. It's so much in freaking the first Thor movie, and now in the second Thor, it was like this. It's like all about this. It's all about Jane, man. This time, it's all about. Yes, this time it's all about freaking Jane, but the way it was like, it's just crazy insane that it was like that. So then we cut into freaking Jane, who was left around in Earth. It was like freaking abandoned. Okay, remember what happened to freaking Jane, right? What happened in freaking the first Thor movie? He left freaking Jane there. He wasn't able to come back to freaking Jane because there were like freaking wars that he needs to fight, right? He wasn't able to like. He was like he needs to like fix all these freaking things first before he can go back to Jane. So he went to freaking Heimdall and like asked him like, no, show me some of that Jane action, you know? It wasn't like that. So he leaves. He gets into freaking thingy. Oh, he wasn't there like just. It wasn't going to Heimdall yet, so that was the merriment and all those freaking things. And that seemingly he was out of the freaking celebration, right? But it wasn't like that then. So that was that. And then cut into freaking Jane. We saw freaking Jane. What is she doing right? Well, right at the moment, probably, or probably a few days, or right at the freaking moment. We saw Jane on a date, like trying to move on from freaking Thor, but somehow he cannot just truly really move on because we saw her in this freaking date. Somehow she's been staring at the menu for 10 minutes, completely not into him. Right? It's having like difficulties going with this guy. What is his name? And there was like having this conversation when it comes to this one, and then when he was trying to open up, she was just trying to open up about him. She was trying to open up about this guy, and this guy mentions fucking New York. She was like, "Oh, I have the same I have the same guy too. I have the same freaking experience too because this chick left me for work in New York." And it was like, "Oh fuck, it's the same as it's really almost the same because Thor went to freaking New York, showed up in New York, didn't show up for Jane." Okay. So it's kind of like the same freaking thing that's going on in this freaking conversation that they're having, man. It's crazy, crazy. It's kind of like that. Now that I'm thinking about it, now that I'm telling you about it, it's kind of like that. It's kind of the same. And this guy was really, really sweet and considerate. It doesn't like seem like when it comes it doesn't seem like a jerk. It seems like a pretty good guy, okay? And so it was like that. And then during this freaking date, somehow somehow who's the freaking intern? Her intern, Darcy. Darcy comes into the freaking restaurant, goes into freaking Jane, says like your thingy, your whatever it is that you were working on. I'm like completely surprised. Okay, first off, she wasn't like really going there. She was like completely surprised that you were out. You're going outside and not moping around. It's been like 2 years probably, right? 2 years. 2 years since the last time. It's been 2 years since the last time they met each other. Okay, it's been 2 years since the last time they felt like. And then right now she was trying to move on, and then it was like the Darcy comes around and just pulls her back in, like somehow like drags her back in because there's might be a chance that they may be able to meet again. There might be a slight freaking chance that maybe doing meet again because it's the same freaking thing, same freaking readings as New Mexico. Like Darcy was saying, the readings on this freaking thing that you made, it's like reading signals like about the things about that happened in New Mexico. So maybe Thor is coming back or something like that, or maybe like at least what you're working on when it comes to like Einstein-Rosen bridges is like working here in. It's like trying to like there's like another Einstein-Rosen bridge that's gonna pop up, but Wait, when was the Selvig scene? Yeah. So it was like that, and she was like, and so Darcy freaking left. There was this really nice scene when it comes to be able to these freaking two, and it was like, oh, just go ahead, go for him, like go. I don't think you'll be able to like enjoy this this dinner date or this freaking lunch with this guy, and just go ahead and chase for the actually guy, and then this was it just went there, right? She was like led to be able to like go with Darcy to like find these freaking readings or whatever these anomalies are like popping off again, right? So they went. So they went to the freaking anomalies, but there's someone missing. Where the hell is Selvig? Okay, and then like talking about Selvig, we need to have like a recap. He's been like mind controlled by freaking Loki. He's been mind controlled for freaking Loki. The Tesseract was inside him, so his mind was like kind of like, you know, his mind was inside him. So what happened to freaking Selvig? Running around naked in the freaking she was like. So we had like Jane call freaking Selvig as a freaking transition, and it was fucking funny as fuck, man. It was funny as fuck, but it was funny as fuck, but still, it was funny as fuck because you see a man running around naked in the freaking Stone Age, man. Because that's how Selvig is now, right? But in all honesty, to be able to understand Selvig's situation, it's like there is something that went inside his freaking head, bro. You have like freaking space, like you have like one of the fragments of freaking what made one of the building blocks of freaking the world inside your freaking head. Come inside your freaking head. Those are the Infinity Stones, right? Those are the Infinity Stones. Because you never explained the Beyonders yet. There's no Eternals. The Eternals, we fucked over the Eternals, so probably not gonna be able to talk about the Eternals, even though how I like the Eternals. It's just crazy ass freaking things because it's like about, you know, it's just a love. It's just a relationship of freaking God to man. It's something like that. But we have somehow see the humanization of freaking God. That somehow we manage to see that it's just we are not that much different, even though they have powers and all those freaking things. But they struggle with the same freaking things as we are struggling in this time as humans. What we are and all those freaking things. We have the same freaking struggles. We have the same freaking pain points. But they are like more drastic and much more like higher stakes, I guess, or what they're doing. Okay, but not talk about Eternals. Going back, let's go back. Let me tell you about the. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you about Thor. Going back to Thor and Selvig. But that's what happened to freaking Selvig. When like freaking an Infinity Stone, he got the power of freaking Infinity Stone, and Infinity Stone freaking talking to him into his freaking mind, and freaking it's just mind being controlled by the freaking thing. You know, that's what happened to freaking Selvig. Like in the freaking experiences back in the freaking Avengers, he was like talking about these experiences. Like it's showing him things, it's showing him the universe and secrets and truths of the freaking universe. And that's what like happening to Selvig. And somehow he was doing about the convergence freaking things. So that's what's happening to our sim right now. It's like making something so that the later like yeah, like when it comes to Selvig, he's like making the thing is also, I don't know why he was naked. He probably is naked because the fucking blocks of the energy thing is just going on. It's just like it's just much better off naked, so that it's much more raw energy coming into his freaking thing. It seems like clothes. It seems like a blockage of energy coming into his freaking. It feels like a boundary or like something that blocks the energy that's coming into him, like something like that, to be able for him to be able to think. Probably felt like that, man. Like empathy for freaking Selvig, like running around. It's a fucking joke, naked now. It's funny though. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny that it's like that. It's funny that it's on. It was like that, but that was Selvig. He was trying to make a way so that like it won't be affected when it comes to the effects of the convergence. Yes, we do see portals and all those freaking things, but be able to like somehow pass through it. Like we are somehow not affected, even though we are in a line, but we are not affected by the convergence. It says like the effects of the convergence of like the gravity changing and like many portals and all those freaking things are happening. So that was that. That was his explanation of freaking something or whatever it is what he's going through. But that was like that. So if you see a man running naked in a freaking Stonehenge, where do you put him? Right in the loony freaking bin. So that's where it is so far at the moment. But that's what happened to Selvig. Going back to freaking Jane. Going back to Jane and freaking Darcy. And somehow Darcy has a fucking intern, which his name is Ian. Like Darcy, the intern, has an intern, which is Ian. Like someone like be able to like see Ian like going into that. So Darcy, Ian, and freaking Jane went into the freaking thing, right? Went directly into the went into the anomaly to these freaking signals, and they were like looking whatever the signals is happening. And then later on, they were hearing sneering and freaking things that are coming into the freaking place, into this abandoned freaking building. But it was just a bunch of children. Children, freaking the first freaking people who found the freaking anomalies were freaking children. And then they showed her these anomalies. Like somehow there's this like portal things that is going on. Gravity, there's like somehow it's like some objects are not being affected by gravity because those are just the effects of the convergence, I guess. Like some things are not affected by gravity, like it's the portals going in and out. And when it comes to these portals going in and out, they were exploring these freaking things like that's happening. And while Jane was exploring these freaking things, she like saw a freaking signal, but this signal somehow dragged her in. Like she was like getting signals, and then he was like be able to like look forward to something. Wait, what happened in there? Yes, she was like finding more signals, right? She was finding this, and she was like looking for this bigger signal, I guess. There's somehow much more crazier anomaly. It was like trying to go towards there, but somehow it like completely warped reality and just sucked her in, right? Sucked her into the portal, and after he sucked to the portal, she went into the place where the ether is being hidden, because they cannot destroy an Infinity Stone. Yes, the ether has been hidden because they cannot destroy it. It's just way too freaking strong. It is like a building block. So like, what do you call the Infinity Stones, anyways? Yes, like they're like objects of pure freaking power and energy, right? Like really, really powerful freaking stones. So they were like, so they cannot freaking destroy it. None of the, like not even Bor and it's like freaking people can destroy the freaking ether. And just like Jane was like sucked in by the ether, and then the ether went into freaking Jane. And then it was like that while she was like being sucked into the freaking ether, and while she was there in the location where the ether was, we go back to Thor. We go back to freaking Thor. We go back to freaking Thor, like running away in the Bifrost, going into Heimdall and seeing, because he doesn't like freaking care. Like he went to Heimdall, and somehow Heimdall says he's late. And somehow he says I have to do two things, merriment and like celebration and freaking fighting, right? And somehow there's this joke about probably you're not good at one of those. It's not probably good at celebration these days because he's probably like sneaked out from the celebration, right? He was like seeking out of the celebration, pulling out of the freaking things because it just doesn't seem to be. It's no longer his freaking fix, right? Like Jane is like his fix now. So he went to Heimdall, like asked Heimdall about Jane, and somehow Heimdall cannot see Jane. Like somehow she is obscured from Heimdall's freaking vision, from somebody who sees a lot of things. Almost everything, actually. Almost everything within the freaking connections of the freaking within the 9 realms, right? It's just crazy that it's like that. He doesn't see them anymore. She doesn't see Jane, and then we cut into freaking Jane being sucked into like having a menage, having some things with the ether, bro. He was like she was fusing with the ether. Right? You usually Jane fusing with the ether, floating in freaking space, fusing with the ether, and that's the vision that like, the ether is like, going into her and all those freaking things, and that's what's happening to her. Alright, let me just take a drink. Uh, I think I'm gonna have a longer time now. I think I'm gonna have a longer time now when it comes to like retelling the entire freaking story, man. I'll just have to retell the freaking story and be able to like tell you, oh freaking like talk about this piece and all those freaking things, right? And that's just probably how we're gonna do it because it's half an hour already and we're still it's already half an hour and I'm still explaining Jane being I'm still it's half an hour and we're already at the half hour mark. Half hour mark. So I'm retelling freaking Thor through freaking screenshots and like bits and pieces and not actually playing it, man. So that was that. And then yes, it got sucked into the freaking thing. It got sucked into the freaking thing. And while she was fusing with the freaking ether, it also woke Malekith up because it was like, oh, it's time for the convergence now. Because like somehow Malekith, it's like they got woken up too. Like it's because it's the convergence again, right? Because that was his fucking plan all along. So all I need to do now is like, so it's like rising tensions rising when it comes to the freaking thing. So supposedly tensions freaking rising when it comes to the freaking thing, and we have Thor coming back into the freaking thing. We have Thor going to freaking Heimdall trying to see him, but they don't see her. And then after that, we go back to freaking Jane waking up. With Jane waking up again into the freaking abandoned freaking building, and then somehow seeing that there are cops already in the freaking building. Yeah, cops surrounding the freaking entire place. And it was like, Darcy, I told you not to freaking call the cops and all those freaking things. Not everybody's gonna be here, right? But that was like the entire question. But she was gone for 5 freaking hours. Like, what the fuck happened in 5 freaking hours? She was fucking this freaking... no, she wasn't fucking. She was like fusing. Yes. She was fusing with the ether, okay? It took 5 hours to fuse with the ether and only took 10 seconds for it to get sucked out of her by Malekith later on in the freaking movie. Because that's how that is, man. Like, Malekith is that powerful, I guess. You know, for something to fuse with her for 5 freaking hours and not completely destroy her. Because, again, this is an Infinity Stone. It's an Infinity Stone inside of freaking Jane. And somehow she was able to carry an Infinity Stone and walk around with it. It's just crazy. And somehow what the Infinity Stone does, create an aura where rain doesn't put on you. Like, create a freaking circle where rain doesn't drop. That's somehow like the effect of a freaking Infinity Stone on Jane. It's the Reality Stone too. Like something that can warp reality and all those freaking things. And they're like, bruh, you only like create an umbrella. It's just a space umbrella. And then it acted like a space umbrella. And somehow with all that freaking thingy, now that it's all the cops are surrounding them, stress is freaking rising up. Thor comes down into freaking with the Bifrost in the freaking area while their conversation is happening, and somehow Jane decides to go to freaking Thor. And then you know what she did? You know what she did? Slaps her in the freaking face. Slaps him in the face. Yeah, she slaps her. She slaps him. Yes. Yeah, it was really cool, man. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and it's a space. It turned out to be a space umbrella. You know what? Like when it comes to this freaking movie, I still can't like. I still cannot get over how fucking beautiful Asgard is. Like when it comes to Thor: The Dark World, Asgard was one of the most beautiful freaking places to be able to like be like shown on screen. It's like one of these high fantasy, space high fantasy things that it's just like crazy insane to be able to see, man. It's like a great CGI. I don't know if it's CGI or cinematic. This is really good. This looks beautiful. This looks so freaking pretty, man. Anyways, it was like that, right? slaps him in the freaking face and was like, oh, now they were talking about things. They were explaining each other towards each other what they were doing for the past 2 years. And like Thor, like somehow may be able to got away with it. Thor got away with it. Like Thor got away with ghosting a freaking chick when Thor got away with freaking ghosting a freaking chick because it was like, oh there were sexy things, there are much crazier important things that I have to protect you from. So that's why I wasn't waiting. So yeah, he got away from ghosting a freaking chick, bro. But it wasn't ghosting. Actually, it was like actually doing all those freaking things, so it didn't ghost. But she felt ghosted. She felt freaking ghosted because it was like there was no explanation, right? So that was still there. There was no explanation, but this is like the explanation now. That were like reunions when it comes to these two things, and they were like explaining each other what's happened to each other and all those freaking things. So it was like a really nice thing to be able to watch. And then it was like cut off by freaking Darcy again. Fucking Darcy, man. They were like, and then Darcy comes along because he wanted to be in that space umbrella. Because why the hell not, right? Because funny. Haha, funny. Niggas funny. Yes, funny. Haha. Yes. Okay. And yeah. And then after that, there was like she was like talking to the police was like calling her off, and it was like she went into the police. She went to talk to the police, and the police were like, "Oh, we need to take you in. You were like trespassing in the freaking private property and all those freaking things. So we're not too allowed to be here." And then they touch her. And then when they just bring the confrontation, they eventually had to touch her. And when they touch her, she turns into a freaking bomb and freaking thing. She explodes with red freaking dust, blood-looking red dust coming out of her. And just blowing other people up and then throwing people off, actually. And that's just like, and then after that she somehow faints, and then Thor be able to see, oh, there's something going on with her. I haven't seen that thing. I don't know what the fuck that thing does, but that thing does something. And so he picked her up. Heimdall, take it away. And then she went into Heimdall, take me away. And then they went into freaking Asgard to have better medication care. And it was like, and then we'll go to Asgard, right? And we're going to Asgard now. Yes. Soul Forge and Quantum Field Generator are exactly the same. I was like, that was the thing that was like looking around for a freaking movie. So when they go in there and go into the freaking thing, she was like being diagnosed as to what the hell is going on with her, right? But somehow like they see on the molecular freaking level, it's like something that projects something, scans something on the molecular freaking level and just projects it into freaking air, right? All right. All right, we're gonna be here for a while. We're gonna be here for a while. I don't think I can summarize it in one freaking hour, man. So that was that. That was what happened. It was like freaking Soul Forge, and then there was like this conversation when it comes to the freaking Soul Forge, being a quantum field generator, and actually is a quantum field generator. And then they were diagnosing her, and they were like, "There's nothing going on. It doesn't seem that there's nothing. Nobody's saying this. It's nothing going on when it comes to her." Odin comes into the freaking diagnostic chamber, and whatever it is going on, because we got to see more about Frigga, right? We get to see more about Thor's freaking mother and how she like acts when it comes to these freaking things, and what she does to these freaking people. So like freaking Thor, freaking Odin comes in and be able to like bring her back to the freaking like get this fucking whore away from me, like something like that. Somehow sells her as a goat. She doesn't belong here. Like somehow as a goat does not belong in a dining chamber. That's what Odin seems to like see. That's how somehow Odin sees Jane, and somehow Jane asks, "Who the fuck do you think? Who do you think you are?" And then he says, "Odin." I am Odin. And that was like pretty funny. That was funny things again. And then when it comes to that, yeah, she was like, they have doctors there. They have the same things that was they doing here. We're doing the same thing here as other people would do it in the freaking in her realm. So bring her back to her realm and all those freaking things. And somehow, because of that, there was this conversation when he got that, and someone she get touched again, right? Yes, she. Yes, they were like having like this freaking. Yeah. And then they were trying to take her away, and then there's this thing again was like. So they were trying to take her away, bring her back to freaking Midgard, says Odin, and so the guards were coming in, trying to take her away, touch her, boom, explosion! And then Odin was shocked and be able to see that, oh, there's something going on when it comes to Jane. Jane, bad thing going to Jane. And so there was like she takes them away into this freaking magical freaking book and then tells them a freaking story. Tells them the freaking story of the freaking ether. How it was is part of the freaking Infinity Stones. Probably like others were freaking stone, but this one was not, and it was like held by the freaking Malekith and all those freaking things. But it was said, out of all, but the information what Odin knows is that they were just. What Odin knows is just wait, let me just get. Oh my god. The thing about it is that it was like that. So it was like, yeah, it was like, but all he knows is that all the dark elves were freaking destroyed, and so as they say it, and then he did all this explanation and all this exposition that's coming on, and it was like, "Does your magic book tell me how to get it out of me?" Says Jane, and he says no. He goes exposition. And then we go back to the freaking Malekith trying to do some voodoo, trying to do some shit when it comes to this, like one of his people. Right. Yeah, we have like Malekith, like did Malekith did something. It was like Malekith planning on doing something when invading Asgard because he somehow knows the location of the freaking ether. It was like it's in Asgard, and it was like, oh, it does something to do. It does something and like puts the freaking power up, or like creates a berserker, like somehow how a berserker is freaking made, right? But it's much more crazier because the ritual was like cutting something off from like one of his freaking confidants, and then putting this freaking hot red freaking coal that is burning towards him that changes him. It turns him into like some kind of freaking monster. But somehow it's like stronger. It's stronger, basically sucks the life out of like everybody he touches. It's kind of crazy, insane. No, it's like that. It's like that. So it was like that. Goes here, changes him, right? Again, this is a 6-7 kind of movie, okay? This is a 6-7 movie like retold by like somebody like me, okay? It's a 6-7 movie retold by someone like me. Okay, someone like me or me. Retold by myself, right? So it was like that. He changed this freaking thing and made a berserker out of him, right? It's just like really cool because it's like concepts of berserkers when it comes to Thor. We got like Thor, Vikings, and all those freaking things. Like it's kind of like a berserker. It's kind of what like a berserker was supposed to be. But as it was portrayed, I thought it was like gonna be acting like a berserker, without being wildly freaking raging, freaking wild freaking thing that's just like ripping out of like every freaking enemy that he freaking faces. But it's not. It somehow has a mind of its own. It still has its mind intact, and it's not freaking crazy. The way it was portrayed was like kind of, it was okay. It looks freaking cool. goes into freaking okay. Goes into freaking Asgard. Okay, and that's they invade freaking Asgard. The craziest part is like they invade freaking Asgard. This is like the fighting force first, right? It's like a landing crew or like a recon freaking crew to be able to like disrupt the insides of Asgard to be able to then to be able to like charge in. So when this is one of those first attacking freaking forces, so they have to go in there sneakily. So they have to go in like sneakily into the freaking thing. So they dressed up as like one of those prisoners or one of those prisoners of war that were like caught up by freaking Asgard, and they were like put into the prison cell. They were put into the prison cell, and you know who's in the freaking prison cells? Freaking Loki. Yes, Loki himself. And while these guys were being put into the prison cell, we get to like cut off a little bit with Loki conversing with his mother Frigga, because we need to like learn more about Frigga. And they were like, Frigga was there trying to be a mother to freaking Loki, even though it feels like even though the punishment is like eternal freaking thing in the freaking prisons. It just feels like Loki is being grounded. It just feels like, oh, Loki, you're freaking grounded. That's what his punishment is. Like, grow Loki feeling grounded because his mother was there, trying to like they were like. So it was like that. So they were like talking like that, right? So we're like talking to freaking Frigga while he's being grounded like that. Oh my god. Uh oh, this is taking too much. It's no longer 1 hour. I can't believe I. So this is gonna be the app thing. I feel like I can yap more than longer, right? Yeah, we talk about freaking Frigga. Talking about him, it was like trying to establish this kind of relationship with freaking Loki, right? Because wait, let me just watch it a little bit, just to like get a little bit of a recontextualizing. Because it was very Loki went very very batshit crazy. It was crashing out in this freaking place. They were like he was like talking to this side of freaking Loki that is just like somehow being lost, so they like trying to recover things from Loki from back then. Okay. Yes, he somehow being able to like think he's still being born a true king. It's just about being Loki is being fought. You know, he's very sensitive when it comes to those freaking things, huh? Like being his father and all that, not his father. Okay. And, and then it was asking if she was, is she not, it's what, oh, it was really good. It landed, huh? It feels like it landed. Back then when I was watching this, I really liked it. I really liked this freaking part, man. It was like kind of like really good. You're not, and then she feels heartbroken. It comes a little bit. Yes, it was like really good, man. It's just weird that we have like these tones. Like somehow we have these tones like this, right? We have these tones that are heavy and very very dramatic and very very good. That it's somehow be able to do that, and then you cut it off. You and you know what? It's not. Doesn't feel like you're cutting it off. It's just it's a ride. Okay, it feels like a ride, and you're in there to experience so many things. and you're in there to experience so many things. It's one of those freaking little surprises or like serendipitous things to be able to like learn and understand, be able to like, hey, it's freaking nice to be able to learn more about this thing about this person. It's like then learn more about this thing, and to be able to learn more about. And no, wait, what am I talking about? Oh, it's nice. It is. It's just like the tone changes, how the tones freaking change from one to the shot one to another. And this is like a very serious situation. Or after like a lot of freaking right, the pacing, right, the rising of the freaking conflict. It's like it's just weird. When it comes to like rising a rising freaking conflict that is about to be able imminent going to happen in there, and we see this Loki scene. What is this setting up for? That it feels like out of place right now, right? Because it's like you're being showed with like a Loki freaking scene, but we got to learn more about Loki. So we're gonna be showed as we're learning more about Loki. It's gonna be a great setup for something else that is gonna be a payoff later on that we're gonna be able to see, which is kind of good because we got to see like Loki, how Loki sees like Frigga, because somehow it's not just the mother, it's not just a father freaking issue when it comes to Loki. It's just uh it's his place when it comes to this freaking family, right? And what he is. But like, and then this conversation when it comes to like Thor and this family dynamic when it comes to these freaking things. Like Loki's character is, I don't seem to say out of all over the place, but it seems like we're establishing things about him right now that's gonna be payoff later on. And this is one of those freaking things. The scene with Frigga is nice because it's like, so if Odin is not your father, then am I not your mother too? Like something like that, right? And it was just completely just because of like freaking spite and just very bitter when it comes to all those freaking things. It's just, well, so see, he wants to hold her freaking hand, and then knows it's just a hologram. Ah, fuck. Yes, and then. And when it comes to freaking movies, we see it in their facial reactions, right? We see it in their actions too. It's not just like an audio freaking an auditory freaking experience, and it's not an auditory, it's an audio visual experience, right? Sometimes we see it in their freaking faces, we see it in all those freaking things, and it's as long as it's being communicated, like somehow your subconscious will be able to, like, it's not like completely obvious that it's saying Loki is like this, Loki is like that, Loki is like that. Somehow you have to figure it out for yourself as you are watching this. And this is sort of things that I figured out or like somehow understanding while I'm watching this right now. When I'm watching this and now trying to like dissect it, trying to like tell it to you as how I experience it, how I see it. This is how I see it. This is how I see freaking Loki. I see his freaking faces in the like, fuck, I shouldn't have said that to my mother. Something like that, right? I was being hurtful and I saw it to her and I was like, no, I shouldn't be able to do that. I don't see her like that. I freaking regret this freaking saying it to her. It's not like when it's a relationship or like when he was yelling at his freaking father, freaking Odin, like on the first freaking movie, and I doesn't even fucking care that he was like passing out in front of him. You know, it was cool. That scene was like freaking cool, and then we got to be able to like see it, and be able to like back again with Jane and freaking, and then going to Jane and freaking Thor, and then we got the Jane and freaking Thor. Uh, More exposition. Yes, it was more exposition, but like, I fucking love how Asgard looks in this freaking scene. Okay, in this freaking scene with Jane, like walking with Jane and freaking Thor in Asgard. That's like one of those beautiful freaking shots in this freaking movie so far that I've seen. It's one of those scenes that I was like, holy fucking shit, this place looks freaking beautiful. Aesthetically, like the shot is fucking beautiful, and the kiss was like, yes, finally. I was like, yeah. That it was like really good. Yeah, you can see the water reflecting from the freaking sand, but it's like the close-ups are like, but the wide shots were fucking beautiful. Okay, and they were like holding hands, trying to holding hands, but it was like explaining things. I swear to God, like Jane wasn't like understanding the freaking convergence right now. All she's thinking, it's both. You're understanding the freaking convergence, and you were like holding hands, man. It was like, oh, that is freaking crazy. And then like, yeah, it's like this shot. This shot when they were like kissing, the wide freaking shot, it's like really freaking good. Looking at the reflections from the freaking water and all that. The Asgard freaking shots, like freaking with the environmental shots, the wide shots in Asgard are like fucking beautiful, man. And then we get to see Thor's relationship with like we got to like Jane and all those freaking things. We got to see about Thor, how Thor like sees his mother, right? It's because somehow we got to be able to experience here in the Thor: The Dark World what it is like when it comes to his mother. And then it was like that. So introduce him with freaking Jane, all those freaking things. And then we're going back to the prison break scene. Yeah, also that the thing that was like stuck in him, it wasn't a ritual. They were like trying to hide something from him. They were trying to hide they were trying to hide a thing from yes, it was like actually they were trying to sneak something in. So the thing that was cut into it, I thought it was a berserker freaking scene, but it was not. They were trying to hide. I didn't know it was like this, man. It's like something I skipped over about and I never understood fully because of the freaking main plot points. But it was like this. It was like, oh, you got to understand that freaking scene. It was like that. They cut off this thing, got up from this freaking thing that was sneaking this freaking rock. I don't know what this rock does. It's gonna crack it, and then it's gonna have a power up. Yes. And then everybody was like, "We got us out the fuck out of here! What the fuck is going on?" And then Loki was like chilling. And then Bruce, space prison break. Then they blasted it out. Okay, let's skip this freaking part. The prison break was kind of nice. They were like, he was like opening like a lot of freaking prisons except for freaking Loki. Like someone sees Loki and was like, "Fuck this guy." Did not break him open. But somehow like Loki was like, "Hey." It was like he helped him out. This why not use this freaking pathway? Why not go this freaking stair right there? Stairs to the left. And it was like crazy insane. And so there was like ruckus and go back to Thor. This ruckus going on. This freaking scene. When like Thor was like trying to go back into freaking Asgard or going to like where the trouble is happening when it comes to the prison break, the way he like jumped into the freaking balcony and have like catch Mjolnir and have like Mjolnir fly around, that was so cool. That was a sick shot. Yeah, the recasted casual recast away. By the way, the card right now is the devil, which is Loki. It's a Loki card. It's Loki. It's Loki when it comes to like the Marvel freaking deck, the Marvel freaking deck. It's like all about Loki, man. It's like Loki. And then it was like funny freaking scenes and the freaking breakouts. It was like really, really cool. And one of this freaking cool now is the raiding freaking party coming in with like camouflage freaking like retroactive panel, retro reflective panel. What the fuck were those called? Yeah, We see invisible freaking ships. They're gonna use invisible freaking ships again. Like you're gonna. We see invisible ships. We're gonna see invisible. Hello, I'm back. Okay, the mic keeps disconnecting. That is a freaking hard one. That's weathering. That's just what happens when you're like you've been outside for way too freaking long. There's like weathering, weathering problems. We're having weathering problems. We got like wiring scarring. Hello. Okay, that was crazy. I have my entire thing disconnect, reconnect, reconnect, disconnect, disconnect, reconnect. Yeah, it does disconnect and reconnecting again. Okay, weathering. Weathering thing is. So we have this freaking thing, the invisible freaking ships coming into the freaking Asgard. Wow. Wow, I updated freaking Windows and this is what happens, man. This is why you never update Windows that much, man. I updated Windows and this is what freaking happens. And then do you know what the solution of freaking Windows is when you ask for like solutions when it comes to things? They ask you and then they tell you update your freaking drivers. I updated my freaking drivers and you look what happens. And so, alright, back to the freaking invisible ships coming into freaking Asgard. We see freaking Heimdall trying to notice all these freaking things that are coming out. He just like leaves his like watching his freaking sword. Comes and runs around and then jumps into freaking thing and like cuts this freaking ship, right? Cuts this ship that is coming into the freaking Asgard, and then after he like sinks down this freaking ship, looks back behind him, comes a rising freaking bigger one, and it was like it comes like more freaking ships coming in, and it's just freaking crazy. It's man, that was a scary freaking part. It was scary, cool, and freaking badass. Badass on the villain freaking side, fucking scary on the freaking hero side, because if you're all in with the freaking heroes, you'll be like, fuck! I hate this! And it was like, no! It was like a bigger freaking threat! Yeah. Oh, it was like, you're not getting past Heimdall. Yeah, this was really cool. And then so you have the artillery coming in, like they have these freaking things just dodging freaking artillery. They were like the dark elves are fucking OP as fuck. And then later on you get to see much more crazier things when it comes to their freaking war tactics. Yes, like Asgardians have artillery and all this freaking shit, but they fight fucking melee. They fight like freaking medieval freaking creatures. Like their ships have freaking guns, but it's like, dude, these guys are dodging them like crazy insane, and it's like that. And we get the shield coming up, and it's just crazy insane. This freaking sequence is crazy insane. The raid of freaking Asgard was fucking awesome because we see the superiority of freaking dark elves against freaking Asgardians. Somehow Asgardians still fight like in their medieval times. We get to see it properly in the freaking throne room where like the elves were like coming up with guns, and then these freaking Asgardians are like there with shields and swords. And then the freaking grenades, that, oh my god, the grenades, the special effects and the special effects and the fucking grenades are freaking awesome, man. So after all, with all this freaking crazy ass things like happening in there, like Malekith was going into the freaking thing, right? Going into the freaking thing, we have what with all these freaking things that's going on, right? So later on, before like Thor introduced Jane into his mother, and then the raid freaking happened, and the prison break happened. So Thor went into prison. While Thor was going into the prison, Jane and freaking Frigga were like trying to find a hiding spot, right? trying to find the hiding spot, and it was really really cool. And then we get to see them in the Frigga's freaking chambers. They were like hide her. This is a freaking badass. Like Frigga was fucking badass. Like they're fighting for Malekith. Yo. By the way, can you like can I just say how freaking badass it is that the lightning, Thor's Thor's lightning is so freaking cool. No, Thor's lightning is like this has been so far the best rendition when it comes to like lightning in freaking movies. It's just there's just this freaking glow that's going on, and the whiteness it feels like so freaking white. It's a cool freaking white. It's not a warm freaking light, but it's like a temper. It's a very cool white, but it's just so freaking badass, man. It's nice. Then we get to see Frigga fighting Malekith, and they almost got him. But like there's the berserker going in there, and like it's like oh no, it was like too freaking strong. So I like right before he was gonna get Jane. Jane was like, "Oh fuck this shit." Jane is just a whole other hologram, another freaking trick from freaking Frigga. And oh, by the way, when it comes to those freaking things, when it comes to the freaking hologram, it's the first time we see in the freaking prison scene. In the freaking prison scene, this is the first time we see like Frigga. Frigga. It's the first time we see Frigga. What do you call this? Frigga like showing Loki, right? It's the first time we see that Frigga is like doing Loki's tricks. It's somehow this is where we got freaking Loki's tricks, man. Like this is where Loki got his freaking tricks. This is where Loki got his all these freaking magic. Like he learned it from freaking Frigga. I guess it was like that, right? It seems like it was like that. So it's much more attached to freaking Frigga. Because she has the same like actions and like freaking things when it comes to Loki. And then when she was stabbed, and then the goats. Yes, and then Frigga got freaking stabbed. Thor was too late to be able to come into the rescue, and then like, midday Asgard, man. And then after that, we get to see freaking Odin like grieving his freaking wife. And then we get to see the freaking burial scene. The burial scene is just Frigga's funeral is really so fucking cool. Oh wait, did I forget about like when like Jane was like introduced in the freaking Asgard, and then Jane was like passed through freaking Sif, and the way Sif looks at fucking Jane, that's near. That's near. It's like hey. It's crazy insane that it was like that. And so after this freaking thing, right? It's like the scene when it comes to Frigga's freaking scene is like kind of crazy insane because it's like it's so freaking beautiful. You see all the Asgardians doing all this freaking shit, and then yes, it's like it's beautiful. It's like freaking eye candy, man. It's so beautiful. It's like well made. As she was like taken to the edges of freaking Asgard. This is so good, and then she turns to Stardust. So freaking cool. And then she turns to Stardust into the freaking universe. That was really cool, man. And they were like having these globular lanterns. That was so freaking cool. And then we get to see the effects of freaking Loki. And then after this freaking scene, after like Frigga's freaking funeral, after the death of freaking Frigga, we got to understand that we got to be explained to us, like when it comes to this is planning, whatever this is going on, we get to be explained to us that they are outgunned. We can see their ships. We can see our artillery cannot see their ships. So basically, like Asgard is defenseless, right? But somehow Odin wants to defend freaking Asgard. Still wants to like use every Asgardian freaking people all the way to the last freaking person just to like defend the freaking ether. But somehow Thor was suggesting another way out, another way out of it. Thor was suggesting another way out for a much more crazier freaking plan, but it's just it's a crazier freaking plan, but it's a plan that is somehow needed. Like bring the Aether to Malekith, and whilst he was sucking it out, let's just destroy Malekith and the Aether at the same time, right? That's somehow his freaking plan. And it doesn't seem like a freaking good plan. It seems like a freaking idiotic plan, but it's better than sacrificing the rest of freaking Asgard, I guess. I guess that's just how it is, right? I guess it's better than sacrificing the rest of freaking Asgard out of it. Yeah, that's just somehow freaking plan. But what you know what it's good about agrees with freaking Thor, right? It was like I will win, says freaking Odin to Thor when it comes to these freaking things. Like they will win over Malekith, but they were like overcome with grief because they were grieving over like everybody's grieving over Frigga. And when it comes to like being struck with grief, we get struck with like when we're struck with high freaking emotions, it's really hard to focus on the freaking task at hand. And it kind of disrupts you and like spirals down to like crazy ass freaking things. Because I've experienced this freaking thing when it comes to freaking grief. I was on a track, I was doing something, and then somehow I experienced fucking grief. I was trying to do something, I was turning to into some crazy ass freaking person. Yeah, grief, man. Anyways, that's what's happening. And then Thor like wanted to like have like a freaking plan. He still wanted to pursue his freaking plan. So we see him like talking with the Warriors 3, Warriors 3? Warriors 2 and Lady Sif. So he has this freaking prison break plan. He's planned to be able to execute these freaking wishes, like to execute these things or whatever it is going to happen. And one of his crazy ass freaking plan was free freaking Loki. And when it comes to the execution of this plan, we don't see much of anything when it comes to like Thor's freaking plan. But the way it was executed, the way it was played, I liked it. I like the way it was played. I like the way I like this freaking sequence because we get to see sibling like brothers like having like a thing about each other, like teasing each other when it comes to whatever it is that's going on, right? When it comes to the escape scene after they get rid of freaking Loki out of his freaking cage. And we have Thor like talking about I always know you're going to betray me, right? I that's always like freaking Thor's freaking thing. But we have to see that this conflict starting to like change because they're starting to see each other. Like what we're starting to see, we hate freaking Loki so far up to this freaking point, but as a viewer, I started to like empathize with freaking Loki when I was like watching this one because I started to like see that he has something he cares about. And the things he cares about, I understand why he cares about the things he cares about, and he freaking lost it. We see him like that, right? And then we see him like having these things with his freaking brother, even though he doesn't they don't trust each other at this point. But it was like the development of freaking trust. It's just crazy insane that it's like that. And then the lines have been changed so far. I know you don't have to trust me, right? Like all those freaking things. And so their plans to going towards the dark world to face Malekith We get to see more of this character development coming from Loki, which is again when I'm through another theory. When it's that fast, when the character development is that fast and that freaking quick, this person is gonna fucking die. When somebody has like that freaking fast of a character development, that freaking quick, he is gonna fucking die. And we get to see the freaking change from freaking Loki. His development is being changed so freaking fast as the freaking sequence goes by, and we get to see him finally betraying freaking what the plan was really fucking good, man. The way it was executed, the way we see him, the way he was portrayed or saw into me, is someone sees that Thor is not just a muscle head, that he has a freaking that he can think. Okay, that he can, like, when he executes on his plan, like it's actually very well made. That he is not that dumb. He's not that stupid. But somehow when it comes to when it comes later on, when it comes to other freaking movies, after Thor: The Dark World, we got to see like a little bit of smarts coming from Thor, man. But it's just in this freaking sequence, of freaking scenes, the prison break, Loki's prison break, all the way to all the way to the entrance to the Dark World. We get to see that was like all planned by freaking Thor. That was Thor's plan. And we get to see it was a really good freaking plan. It's very nice, actually, right? It's a very nice freaking plan, because then afterwards they were like, got out of the freaking thing. So they need to like get the freaking ether to freaking Malekith. And that's what they're trying to do. So as they're going to try to do with the ether with Malekith, there was this trick thingy. It was like really cool. The way we were portrayed, like after the chains fell off and it comes to like freaking Loki, the knife, and then stabs freaking Thor. And I was like, fuck, he really does get to betray freaking Thor. And it really is like, they've been saying he will betray fucking Thor. And I was like, yeah, fuck, he does gonna betray freaking Thor. And then we get flipped around again. And we were able to, no, it's not a freaking betray. It was a ruse to make Malekith believe that Loki is betrayed freaking Thor. And it was like, they fight, and then they fight, and then the fighting happened. And it was like, the really cool fighting scene. The sky was really cool in this freaking scene. The Dark World sky is really cool, but all of it is just dirt and freaking things. And it's like, it's a dark freaking world where they went into it, but it was like that. Oh, wait. No, I gotta speed things up a little bit, right? Yes. Because that was like Thor, Odin, yes. The escape scene. So the prison break. Loki's prison break was so freaking cool, and the way like character development when it comes to Loki, when it comes to the certain things, and we were like, fuck yeah, he's smart. Okay, they were working together. They're working together as freaking brothers. They're working together, and then they were able to like see this freaking sacrifice coming from Loki as he like stabs this freaking dark ass creature as it was beating freaking Thor at the freaking end, and this guy that's just completely like wrecks freaking Loki, and then we're able to see Thor going towards Loki and trying to grieve him and all those freaking things. And like one of those freaking questions too, there were like a lot of questions when it comes to this freaking journey, this sequence, right? This freaking journey of this freaking plot where they were like trying to escape with freaking Loki. And there were like these questions about did you grieve for me and all this freaking, did father grieve for me? Like Loki was asking those freaking questions to freaking Thor, and it was crazy insane because it was like, did you grieve for me and all those freaking things, because all the freaking understands freaking grief, right? Like someone when it comes to understanding freaking grief, for me, you grieve someone because you know how much you grieve for someone is how much you love them. Someone can something kind of like that, right? If you grieve for something, you know what you've lost is important, and you begin, but it's like a great freaking reminder that you've lost something really important to you. That's why you're grieving. And he was asking about this grief to freaking Thor, and it's like crazy insane to be able to understand it from freaking Loki's side, because it was like asking, am I important to you? And yeah, it was answered, right? It was like it was a big yes. So it's just a very fast character development when it comes to these freaking things, and it's kind of crazy that it's like that. And again, if it's that freaking fast, you know this guy's gonna fucking die. it's that fucking fast, you know that guy is fucking gonna die. Probably gonna die, man. There's like a high chance they're probably gonna die. Because if it's that freaking fast, I don't know what the fuck it's gonna be a main staple in after that freaking journey. If that's the character development, it's that freaking fast. That person's it's either gonna be a main staple in the freaking storyline, or he's gonna die. And he died. Well, if we fake his freaking death, right? And you'll be able to see him. He was like, "Oh fuck, are we gonna get betrayed again by Loki?" And as freaking viewers, we get betrayed again by freaking Loki by like him going into Asgard and like talking to freaking Odin. And it comes to these freaking things, right? It was like talking to them, and it was like we found the freaking body. And we found the freaking body, and like Odin like said Loki's, he said Loki's name, and you see this smile coming from this freaking guard, as he is posing as a freaking guard. But I don't see it as a smile of freaking yes, I fooled them. It's like I feel like that smile. The music was freaking misleading during this freaking part, right? The music was leading you that it's a smile of freaking I got them. But I think it should be like a smile. I see it as a smile that like, oh, they care for me. Like I am not just a stray dog that was just taken in. Like it's like that I am important. Like I matter to these people. Like somehow like it's finally Loki realizing that he matters to freaking Odin. That he matters to freaking Odin. Like that smile when it comes to this, like that was like the thing that I've like understood from it. And I see it as that. And so it was like that. And then after the freaking death scene, it comes with one of the freaking funniest part where I fucking laughed so freaking hard. And then after that freaking thing, I don't know what's wrong with freaking Marvel, man. They did that thing that the freaking Thor knows like Loki died, but we get to see that he died. No, Thor knows that Loki died, right? We know that Loki died. We don't get to see yet the transition from Loki faking his death. We don't get to know yet that Loki fake is dead. We get to see Thor going back to freaking Jane. They were stuck in the dark world, but they were like found a way to go back to freaking Earth because there's like the portals, because it's a convergence, right? There's like portals everywhere. So there's like a portal that they found like going back to Earth because there's a signal, and Jane was like, there's this gag about this freaking friend that he was like dating with, right? He was like Richard. Yes, the guy Richard's freaking dating with Jane. It was like, oh, all this freaking talk about this freaking thing. And I was like, they went in there, went to freaking Selvig. Selvig was like out of freaking all this freaking time. Selvig was got out of the freaking loony bin because of Darcy and freaking Ian. Darcy and Ian got Selvig out of the freaking thing, and then they were like on Selvig's freaking apartment. Was it Selvig's apartment or like Darcy? They were on Darcy's freaking apartment. They were like all gathered back in Darcy's freaking apartment. It was like, and we get to see this freaking first interaction again after 2 freaking years from Selvig. Do you understand what like Selvig is at this point, right? He's been mind controlled by Loki. He's been fucked over by Loki, and it's like all those freaking things. And then during this freaking point, we like see the character development when it comes to Loki. We get to see this freaking change when it comes to Loki and all these freaking things. And so we had to see this weird interaction when it comes to like Loki and freaking Thor. Was like, so your brother, and then Thor was like, Loki's dead, and you get to see we're supposed to be grieving. You get to see Selvig say thank God. Oh shit. Oh thank God, shit. Oh shit, it was so fucking funny, man. Selvig, man. Selvig was so fucking funny, bro. Selvig was so fucking funny in that freaking scene. It was like, oh shit. Selvig was so, oh thank God. I was like, oh shit. It was like, oh fuck no. Oh, and then me as an audience member was like, oh right. And I was like, oh right, that's what he did. It was like fucking funny as well. Oh my goodness. That was fucking funny, man. I laughed so hard until I was like coughing up. I laughed so hard after that when I was like, I paused the freaking video and I was like laughing so very hard, and then until I was coughing up and wheezing. And I couldn't stop laughing about it, man. So that was that. And then after that one, we get to see the throne room scene. They were like trying convergence and like talking about Malekith. So Malekith got the ether, right? It sucked out. They didn't get to be able to defeat Malekith because they were like they got beaten, man, because of this like berserker thingy. I'm calling it berserker because there's no other word for him. Yeah, because of this berserker, they were like be able to beat. They cannot beat the berserker. They beat the berserker, but they didn't beat Malekith. Malekith got the freaking huge ass power up because he couldn't even beat freaking Frigga, man. Like when it comes to like freaking Malekith, like as a big freaking bad when it comes to this freaking movie, which is like a freaking weak point because we don't get to see convincing freaking villains. Because somehow, like when it comes to like rating these freaking movies, like at first freaking watch, you don't get to really understand freaking things like that, right? So we had to really have the really really strong villain and really really convincing freaking villain to be able to like for the hero to freaking fight. Like somehow that's how they rate freaking things. So for me, it's just a crazy ass different freaking thing because I tried to take in a lot of aspects of like how the filmmakers went to it. A lot of aspects and effort that people went into making this freaking thing because I know when it comes to like a freaking people, like when you see the freaking credits, there are like a lot of people who worked on that freaking thing, man. Like, don't you even understand when it comes to like watching the freaking credits and the credits roll up? You see these freaking names, all these freaking names of the people that will be able to work on these freaking things, and I'm trying to like tell you that these are probably things that I've thought of. Like how they're freaking trying to tell you the story, and this is what they're trying to convey to you. This is what they're trying to say to you with these freaking things. But I'm trying to I'm trying to understand it as much as I can to be able to like tell you that this is the actual message of these freaking scenes or whatever it is that's going on when it comes to these freaking things, right? Because sometimes even me myself, when I'm first watching it, I'm like, what the fuck is going on actually? And I was like, oh, it was like all about this and also all about that. So it's just very hard to be able to judge things by just a convincing freaking villain just because the warrior or the freaking hero just didn't have like a hard time beating the freaking villain, and the villain doesn't have like much of a threat or didn't show anything much crazy or any of this freaking things because it was like, oh, another hole in the freaking sky. Like the freaking entire the visuals of how this threat was like freaking looming because it was like a hole in the freaking sky, a portal to be able to like use this freaking infinity stone and like reach out all this freaking 9 freaking realms, right? That was what he was trying to do. It is a freaking great freaking thing, right? It's very 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 it's high stakes what it's trying to do because you are trying to save all these freaking 9 realms, right? All the 9 realms that is under Asgard. But it just doesn't seem to be. It's just that it's just like the threat of Malekith seems to be in the back. It seems to be in the back burner rather than to be in the front because somehow when I understand when it comes to this storytelling, whatever it is that I understood you, now that I'm talking to you about everything that's going on, it seems like we're more here about Loki's freaking thing. Like Loki's freaking character development is much more important than Malekith's being a villain. Like the character dynamics between Thor, Jane, like Thor and Jane's freaking romance, Thor and freaking Loki's things are much more important in this freaking thing. So whatever it is that's going on, right? It's not about the fate of the freaking thing. Like somehow the fate of the freaking thing is just what's dragging them all along to be able to understand and like clash with each other and be able to understand with whatever it is that's going on with each other when it comes to these freaking relationships and what's going on. Like we don't get to see much about Malekith. Like somehow the only thing about Malekith and freaking Thor freaking wanted to kill Malekith is wanted to beat Malekith. It was like all about the Frigga. And that's a good freaking catalyst to be able to start this freaking conflict. But like after the freaking thing, it doesn't. You know what? Probably it's not been conveyed well. It's not very conveyed well, man. Because you see ships dodging freaking things when it comes to freaking Asgard. Like, I don't know. It just like the ships and the freaking dark elves already like dominating the forces of freaking Asgard. Doesn't that show much of a threat for you already when it comes to Malekith? well, more of the dark elves, right? And it's not Malekith himself. Malekith having the freaking Infinity Stone is like kind of crazy. And then them getting a freaking Infinity Stone is kind of like a huge ass freaking threat. But it's not. It's that thing is somewhere in the back freaking burner, right? That was like going on when it comes to these freaking two. When it comes to these freaking people. So that was that. The threat of freaking Malekith. Malekith is like has now the ether, and it's gonna do it on freaking Earth because everything rotates somehow. Like when it comes to Yggdrasil, when it comes to the Nine Realms, everything rotates around Midgard, and the convergence is gonna happen in Midgard. But we have freaking Selvig trying to do these freaking things when it comes to his portals. They were like trying to be able to control the freaking portals or whatever the portals are going into. And when the Selvig's freaking devices, they were able to do that when it comes to the final fight now in the third act. And the grand freaking third act, we got to see Selvig Selvig's devices being used. It was set up with freaking Darcy, and then this crazy ass freaking fights and all those freaking things. The fight doesn't seem like it doesn't seem look good. It's like your turn. The fight doesn't seem like a good ass freaking fight because it seems like your turn, my turn. I hit you. Oh, I hit back. I hit you. Oh, I hit harder. Something like that, right? It seems like yes, the fight is. I don't know, man. It's really, really hard to like have much more convincing fights as to how they should fight. Understanding why he just killed his freaking mother, he loves his freaking mother, they should freaking fight like that. But the threat of freaking Malekith was like that. It's crazy, insane. So I'm speeding things up because it's already an hour and a half. Yes, it was crazy insane. It was like that. There, you don't see the forces of freaking Earth. We see the forces of freaking Earth. We see like F-22 jets coming in, and then going into the freaking portal. You know what? The fight within the portals is kind of crazy. There was like the thing about Mjolnir going up and down the freaking going to space and going back down to Earth, going to space and going back down to Earth. That was a freaking funny freaking thing to be very very creative freaking way to like show the freaking fight when it comes to the freaking portals. And then, after the Malekith fight, you know what? The important thing about this is like about Loki's character development, and that's like we got to see like Loki freaking change, right? And then this final conversation after he beats Malekith. How the fuck did he beat Malekith anyway? You beat Malekith by crashing an entire ship down on him. It was fucking meh. Like, do you really sure? Are you sure that would have killed Malekith? Like, are you sure that's gonna kill Malekith? Like somehow you cannot destroy the freaking ether, but you can destroy his freaking body. Okay, then fine. That's how somehow they were able to fight Malekith. It was like really really cool as action sequences. It was like really 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 cool. Okay, it's now. But now, right now, after that freaking fight, we get to see more of like Loki and freaking Thor's freaking conversation with each other, right? We get to see this freaking him going to Thor, accepting the freaking telling to freaking Odin as he sees Odin. It's like I don't want to be king. He somehow relinquishes his wanting to be king anymore, but he will be there to protect the Nine Realms. He will always be there to protect the realms. But it was like I'd rather go to freaking Earth and all those freaking things, right? Because Jane is just that important to me, and somehow Jane is that important, bro. Like holy fucking shit, man, Jane. Woo. Jane, damn Jane. Like the fuck did you do to this man, bro? It's like someone wants to like go to Earth. Like Earth is it's someone like doesn't want to be king. And somehow like we're able to like converse when it comes to Odin, and someone is still conversing and it's hitting. Even this feels like a conversation between Thor and freaking Odin. It still like feels like it's so freaking cool because this is what it feels like. Do you know what it feels like right now? This conversation between Thor and Odin is what it feels like with me conversing with the people that I'm trying to converse with. it seems like I'm just conversing with my mother, but I'm conversing with somebody else, something like that. It seems like I'm just conversing with freaking things, but I'm conversing with somebody else too. But the conversation feels like it's like that. It's like a back and forth between Loki and Thor, and somehow Thor being trying talking to freaking Loki, and something like that. That this conversation feels like that, and it's so freaking well made. That it's so freaking nice. That I'm just having like, yes, I freaking like this freaking scene, and it's so it hits so freaking well, especially the point where, especially when the point where like we really get to like figure out that like during this conversation it was like there's no way, like I'm like completely doubting these things, like I'm completely doubting that like Odin will like give more his powers and all those freaking things. Like Odin would probably take off freaking Mjolnir from freaking Thor, but it was like I don't want it to take it away from you and all those freaking things. It seems like Loki, like when it comes to the conversation, it seems like Odin was like straying away from like, it seems like he was straying away from like doing something towards like doing Odin powers, right? It seems like he doesn't want to do Odin freaking things. But he was like speaking like Odin, but he doesn't want to do Odin freaking things. But as they're conversing with freaking Thor, whatever Odin is supposed to do to Thor. And then with this freaking conversation, it'll be like, isn't Thor like figuring things out? I think Thor is smart enough to be able to figure things out. And then later on, that's a conversation went on when it comes to like being proud of freaking Thor, and that's the freaking nail on the freaking coffin when it comes to conversation when it's like, fuck, he knows, he has to know at that freaking point, right? He has to know at that freaking point that this conversation is not, that he's not like conversing with freaking Loki. And then after that, he turns back smiling at freaking Odin, saying freaking thank you. And then it's like, dude, that is such a cool freaking thing when it comes to these freaking two characters. Because one really wants to rule and one doesn't want to rule at all anymore. Because he has completely changed. They have both completely changed. And it's just really fucking cool. And it probably like Odin relinquished it to freaking I don't know how Loki got into the freaking throne. But probably it's like a good conversation between like Odin and freaking Loki, right? During this freaking time. That would be like a great freaking thing to be able to understand. Like this conversation between Odin and Loki at this freaking point where we're like talking about Loki's freaking death. And it was like Loki, it was like, bro, that would be like a good freaking thing to be able to see. Like, anyways, Loki season 3 probably we get to see this conversation between like Odin and Loki in this freaking throne room as he comes back and reports that Loki is freaking dead, right? That would be like so freaking cool if Anthony Hopkins was still on it. Like it's so freaking cool, and then it's gonna be much more impactful in Thor freaking Ragnarok as we see this conclusion between these two freaking brothers, acting as freaking brothers towards each other. It's just crazy insane. Okay. Because it's gonna be something like that. Because it's gonna be like the crazy freaking plotlines we're gonna be able to see in Thor Ragnarok, and we're able to like, oh man, it's freaking fun. It's one of the most freaking important things when it comes to freaking Thor. No matter how much the things have changed. That's why probably Thor Love and Thunder felt freaking empty because there's no Loki in it. Because of all the Thor freaking movies, like Loki was in there, and like we're always like exploring this relationship between Thor and freaking Loki, Thor and freaking Jane, and there is Jane, but Jane, the relationship with Jane is like something else, and it's just very, I don't know. That's why probably Thor was like freaking so freaking good. No matter how fucking so much have changed when it comes to like from this freaking Thor to Thor Ragnarok, I'm able to still love freaking Thor and the Thor Ragnarok. I'm able to like, oh my god, it's so much better now, you know. Yeah, people hated Thor: The Dark World for that. I don't know. It's just Malekith being meh. It's just Malekith being meh, but like understanding right now, that's I tell you, like the great part about it is like Thor and like Loki's relationship and how like Loki freaking changed, like how important Jane to is to Thor, like how beautiful Asgard is and how it is gonna be ruined in freaking Ragnarok. It's like it's a beautiful freaking place, man. Yeah, and somehow Zachary Levi is like one of those freaking guys. And that's like Thor the Dark World. Thor the Dark World. And one of the best post credit scene is like we got to see because at the end of the freaking thing, we get to like we get this cliffhanger when it comes to like freaking we get this cliffhanger when it comes to like Jane, right? Is she gonna wait another 2 years for like Thor to come back? Because like there's no freaking communication with these two people. Like only when the Thor freaking arrives, and that's just it, right? We don't get to see that until the very end of the post credit scene. We get to see Thor freaking arriving and kissing freaking Jane. And it was like, fuck yes, that's a good freaking conclusion to the freaking ending. And then there we get to see, we get to introduce to Infinity Stones in this freaking movie. We get to introduce Infinity Stones. It was like the Tesseract was already in freaking Asgard. You can't have two Infinity Stones get together because you know what's gonna happen. You know. That's just in the entire freaking thing. You got the collector, Tivan. Okay. Alright, anyways, that's Thor the Dark World, guys. That's Thor the Dark World. That's Thor the Dark World, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, it's one of those freaking movies that surprisingly I liked more than how it should be. And I think the rating for Thor the Dark World is completely underrated. It's one of those. It's the most underrated freaking film in like all the MCUs, and probably overrated. Also overrated. I don't freaking know. And probably Ragnarok. Right now that I'm thinking about it, probably Ragnarok. Nah. No, I'm not kidding. Ragnarok probably overrated or properly rated. I don't know. Know what? I shit talk it. I'll shit talk Ragnarok, saying it's over freaking rated. I say overrated freaking Ragnarok. Yeah, I freaking shit talk these freaking things because when I hype things up, it's like fucking awful. But it turns into shit. So I'm not gonna hype things up anymore. I'm just gonna completely say it as it is. I'm just gonna say it afterwards. I'm gonna hype things up after I've experienced it, not before I experience it, and before I've like my memory of what it is. I'm gonna hype things up like after I experience it. Yeah. Yeah, Thor Ragnarok. I did enjoy Thor Ragnarok, but will I enjoy it again as much as I did back then? So yeah. Okay. That's about it, guys. That's Thor: The Dark World. I guess this is the format now, and they're trying to like tell you the entire freaking story and how it is, and how I rated it. I'm gonna rate it. It's a good 7. It's not a 6-7, right? It's probably a 7-6. Yes, it's probably a 7-6 kind of movie, not 6-7. It's probably a 7-6. Yeah. Okay, that's about it. That's the movie Thor: The Dark World. 7-6 probably way too high. No, not 7-6. Based on my experience, man, I've never laughed so freaking hard in my freaking life because of that Selvig freaking joke, man. That Selvig freaking joke was like one of the funniest freaking things ever, and yeah, because of that, yeah, it is a 7-6. Yes. Okay. Uh, it's an hour and 43 minutes, and that's Thor: The Dark World, man. I will be wondering why does it take so freaking long like this. What is that? Alright, that's good. Okay, bye bye.